Welcome everybody to Gorilla Propane. Today, 1 pounder bottles, 20 pounder bottle. Can you use a 1 pounder instead of a 20 pounder? Sure. Can you fill up a 1 pounder with a 20 pounder? Sure. Is it illegal? Well, don't transport it. But other than that, you should be in good shape. So you're gonna need some parts. The first one is this hose. You're going to want some kind of a pressure gauge on there to tell you where you're going to lie. You want a cutoff valve, a fitting that fits to the 1 pound bottle, and then a fitting for the propane 20 pounder. This we'll flip this upside down, and that's how we'll fill up these 1 pounders. But first we got to freeze our tanks. Step 1, cut a hole in the box. Just kidding. Freeze your propane tanks. Damn it, Bobby. The colder it is outside, the longer you'll freeze them. You want to get a good temperature differential between the 1 pound, which is the cold tank, and the 20 pound, which will be your warm tank. Heat rises, cold falls. We want the cold propane LP gas to fall into the 1 pound tank as easy as possible. All right, so while the tanks are in the cooler, we're going to need one large spanner crescent style wrench. We'll need some leather gloves. 20-pound tank in good shape. 1-pounders, whether they be the tall cylinder or the short cylinder. And they're called 1-pounders because they weigh 1 pound each when they're empty. Then we'll want a cap like this to protect these 1 pound bottles. This adapter you can use as a backup to something like this. It screws reverse thread into the 20 pound to give you this face right here. And then this will interface with these bottles. So you could fill it directly with just this adapter, which you can find these on Amazon, places like that. Also, I highly recommend one of these. It'll screw into this and you can use it as a 20-pound bottle. Now it's not as good or as long, but it's a short, always have a plan B, plan C. That's what that falls under. And then of course, our main setup, which is pressurized, and then we'll bring out the scale and then we'll weigh to see 1 pound bottle, 1 pound of propane will go into each of those. All right, first we want to go ahead and purge our tanks. Get the air out. Now I don't use this one on the side because they tend to wear out really quickly, and then the tanks don't actually hold up as well. There's a little stem in here. And what we're doing is we're going until we smell propane-ish. You might get a whiff, but you'll know when you get to the propane. And then we'll go ahead and bleed this one. Make sure you're doing this outside. The wind's blowing slightly towards me so I can, but you don't want to be right up on that. There you go. All right, that'll make, probably a lot of people have tried to do this and they're like, well, damn, I can't quite get very much propane in there. It seems like a waste. There was probably a little bit of air in there, or there wasn't enough pressure or temperature differential between the two tanks. That seems to help a lot. All right, let's fill them up. Let's talk about the rules real quick. Number 4, never refill this cylinder. Refilling may cause explosion. All right, federal law forbids transportation of refilled, or if refilled, right? Penalty of $5,000 or $500,000 or 5 years. So you can refill these on site, but you can't transport a refilled cylinder. That's when you get into trouble. It says so on the bottle. But other than that, it doesn't say anything about refill. It does say never do it, but it doesn't say that it's a crime. Here's our scale. Almost empty, pretty much empty. Just about full, slightly used. 1 pound, almost 15 ounces. We're shooting for a 1 pound empty, 2 pound full. Okay, I have flipped over my 20-pound bottle. I have connected the hose, opened the valve on this, but before that, I made sure this one was shut. Otherwise, with gas would seep out of this. You'll know if it's not closed. All right, so now we are ready for the bottles. Remember, heat rises, cold sinks. This bottle's warm-ish, probably 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The bottles coming out are out of your standard home freezer on about, whatever you needs to keep ice cream cold. Got our tank out of the freezer. Good connection. Tank is open, gas is green. So what we'll do, you'll hear it start to fill. And we're going to give that a couple minutes, probably 3 to 5 minutes. We'll check it. And now we have that gauge on the 20-pound end of our hose. When we get done, we can use it to check the pressure on the 1 pound bottle. And you'll hear it go. And now I'm going to lower this bottle. And it's already feeling pretty full. Okay, so here we are. We've given this some time to fill. And what we've done is we've left it connected. We've closed the valve on the 20-pound tank. And then we've left this valve open from the 1 pound. So it goes into the hose and the valve. And we're reading in the green and it's holding. So we're not losing pressure. And what we'll do is we'll give this a good 3 minutes. And that's going to show us that the structure of the tank minus the valve at the connection is good. So it'll tell us that the safety valve that's on the outside there is holding and that everything else is good. So once we have that, we have a full bottle. What we can do is we're going to go ahead and weigh it to make sure that we're in the same range. The gauge says it. We're just going to verify with the scale, and then at that point we'll make sure the connection is good and cap it, and we'll be ready to go. I kind of misspoke right there. It doesn't mean the structure is good, right, Misha? It means that no gas is leaking out and it's got a seal and it's holding that seal. So it doesn't mean there's anything good about the metal. It could fail at any time. I just wanted to clear that up. And finally, weighing in at 1 pound, 15.6 ounces, the green machine. That's it. That's how simple it is. You can use this after you fill it up. Sometimes it might not seal all the way inside where that little valve stem is. Just give it a little tap and it'll help it seat. But there you go. That is one safe, legal bottle, canister, cylinder of propane you can use on your own. Just have to do it here. Don't drive home with it. Like drinking and driving, don't take it. Yeah, you cannot transport these. They have to be used on site. So what you can do is have your kit ready to go. It's not big. 2 adapters and 1 hose with 2 fittings, and then you can go ahead and fill these up when you're camping. Just take, instead of having, maybe you're on a week trip and you use like 10 of these, this way you could just fill them up with a big propane tank. All right, thanks for checking it out. Comment below if there's anything I missed. And I was wearing safety glasses, so be safe and consider subscribing. So I did find this bottle. Had a little bit of pitting and rust, and it's a little older, getting close to its 10-year date, which is usually when you want to toss them. No longer than that, find something else to do. Dispose them properly. None of this is legal advice, just educational opinion. Fun fact, a gallon of propane weighs just about half of a gallon of water.